Okay, so welcome back, and now what we're going to do is we're going to use the sum and difference of cosines, the formulas, to figure this out. Okay, figure these two examples out. So the first one, we want to find the exact value, right? So for both of these, we're going to want to find the exact value. So for this one, we have the difference here. And so notice that we have 5 pi over 4 and pi over 6. So let's use the difference and say, okay, this is going to be cosine of 5 pi over 4 and cosine of pi over 6 plus sine, the same thing, 5 pi over 4 times sine of pi over 6. And so now we can look at this and we can find out what the values are. Okay, so now all we have to do is just know the results, right? So again, cosine of 5 pi over 4, it's going to be a 45-degree angle, right? So again, that's the way I think. I think in either pi over 4, multiples of pi over 4, just 45 degrees. And so again, I know cosine of a 45-degree angle, right? Because the reference angle here is going to be 45 degrees. Okay, we know that right off the bat. Now, which quadrant it is going to be, it's going to be in the third quadrant, okay? Because it's more than pi, but it's less than the third quadrantial angle, which is 270 degrees, which gives us what? It's going to be 3 pi over 2, okay, or 6 pi over 4. So this is definitely less than 6 pi over 4, right? So it's in the third quadrant. So cosine is negative, right? So cosine's negative in the third quadrant. So that means it's going to be a negative, what? It's going to be cosine, so it's going to be what? Square root of 2 over 2. Okay? So that's that one. And cosine of pi over 6, that's positive in the first quadrant. It's in the first quadrant, so that's going to be a 30-degree angle, right? So cosine of a 30-degree angle is going to be square root of 3 over 2. Okay, so again, just make sure you know your ratios, okay, your unit ratios. Okay, so now, what else do we have? So, so for sine, so now it's going to be sine of 30 degrees. Sine is negative in the third quadrant too. Okay, so this is going to be negative. Again, it's opposite over hypotenuse, but still it's going to be negative square root of 2 over 2 times sine of 30 degrees, or pi over 6, in the first quadrant is going to be positive, so that means it is going to be 1 over 2, so 1/2. Okay, so now, put all this together. What do we get? Here we get negative square root of 6 over 4 minus square root of 2 over 4, which gives us what? This is going to be negative, so it's going to be, well, let's pull the negatives. Is that how I want to do it? Yeah. So let's do negative square root of 6 minus the square root of, plus over 4. Okay? Now whether you leave it like this or whether you pull the negative sign out, that's irrelevant. Personal choice. But that's it. That's the answer. Now what about this one? Now here we got just an angle, right? Well, we're going to have to figure this out, and 75 degrees isn't really an easy angle to work with, right? Right off the bat, unless you have a calculator, but they don't want us to use the calculator. They want us to get the exact answer. So we're going to have to split this angle up into 2 other angles that we can use. Okay? So, for example, what are 2 angles that add up to 75 degrees that we can easily use, right? So some some mixture of 45, 60, 30, right? So, well, 75, if you take 45 and 30, right, that'll work. So we'll write this as cosine of 30 degrees plus, 45 degrees. Oops, not 50. And so now guess what? Now we're going to use the sum formula for cosine. So this is going to be cosine of 30 degrees times cosine of 45 degrees minus sine of 30 sine of 45 degrees. Okay, so now cosine of 30 degrees, again, this is first quadrant, so it's positive. So this is going to be square root of 3 over 2. Okay? And then cosine of 45 degrees, again, this is in the first quadrant, so it's positive. So it's going to be what? Square root of 2 over 2. Minus sine of 30 degrees, which is going to be 1/2. And sine of 45 degrees is again square root of 2 over 2. Okay. And so now we simplify this. This is going to be the square root of 6 over 4 minus the square root of 2 over 4, which gives us the square root of 6 minus the square root of 2 over 4. And that is our final answer. Okay. Now, that's not the only way we could have done it. We could have picked two values that were that we could have subtracted, right? To get 75, right? We could have used 135, 135 minus 60. That would have worked. Okay, and then you just have to realize that 135 is a 45-degree angle, right? Located in the second quadrant. Okay. Okay, have a great day.